Hi everyone, today let's look at PCE data. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So the PCE data came in a little better than expected at 0.2 and 2.8 from a year ago. Headline number rose at 0.3 and 2.7 from a year ago. So everything looking a little bit better on inflation. Again, a little bit softer read than we've been seeing. The last data was decent, but the 3 months prior to that was very rough. And you can see 2.8 on the core number. That's fine. Traders have been in this range for a while now, and this was a lot better. And it did give markets a pretty solid boost early in the session. We gave it all back, and we'll definitely see that on the charts before getting a very strong rally into the end of the day. But overall, inflation not moving, but it's not going higher. Moving over to fear and greed, you can see we finished at a 48.45 yesterday, saw a slight step higher here today, so markets finding a little bit of strength. Momentum has really not moved from greed, strength and breadth still hovering in fear, and then on this move here from that SMA on the VIX, we did see a big move down and gave markets a bit of a shot in the arm, and then bonds not really moving here, greed and fear still. Moving over to June seasonality, you can see sideways choppy market. That does kind of seem like what we're getting, so we'll continue to put seasonality back in the videos. I haven't been covering it because it's not really been very applicable to the markets that we've been seeing, but sideways chop for June is the projection, and so far that's what we've seen. Moving over to the economic calendar, CPE for the Eurozone came in a little bit higher than expected. Not great there, 2.9 versus 2.7 for the Eurozone. PCE data, like we said, 2.8 for the year, 0.2 for the core, which was better than expected. And then you can see headline number in line with expectations at 0.3, so that was good. And then Chicago PMI coming in a little bit low there at 35.4. Moving over to max pain, you can see it was down at 520, ended up finishing at 527, almost 528. Top of the puts was around 530, so didn't quite have a super bullish finish. 530 call wall did hold, but that 520 put wall that we talked about yesterday did hang in there quite strong, and then we did get that rally into the end of the week. Moving over to the charts, starting off with the S&Ps here, look at these charts, absolutely wild. So rallied super aggressive pre-market, hit the level, broke down, took out the next level to the downside, didn't quite touch 517, and then candle, stack, candle. Look at that 1 hour candle, 1.14% on the last candle of the day. Massive volume, and on that it became a positive day, finishing up almost 1% right at the next level, 527.35, closed basically right on top of it, so important level, it's above it after hours. And look at that volume, massive. So on that move, you assume that we're going to be headed into a bullish week next week. What a crazy day, and it's even more crazy on the NASDAQ. And looking at the Tasty charts here just for a moment, on the 4-hour chart, you can see we hit that lowest ATR band, but on that bull candle, we took out the ATR stops. Those were at 526.82, and now we have bullish conditions, massive volume. You'd expect to head to that upper ATR, which is now at 532.77. And looking at the NASDAQ chart here, you can see big dip low, just like we talked about. Tried to overthrow this upper level, hit the 21, broke this level here at 446.66, touched the next one at 443.91. I was looking at that chart, looked good here, and then we got bullish candle, bullish stack, and then that massive 1.35% to the upside, huge candle. You can see the NASDAQ wasn't nearly as bullish. We still have bearish conditions here on the momentum, so you do have to factor that in, but massive wick rejection, wasn't positive on the day, 0.19 to the downside, so not nearly as bullish as the SPY on the day. But that's a massive reversal on massive volume, big volume on the day. And maybe this is the midpoint. We're looking for a double top or a lower high, and then we could be looking for that deeper pullback. So we'll see how it plays out. Right now, this is a big wick down, and the momentum on the shorter time frames is to the bullish side. And looking at the Tasty charts here, you can see we did not see a switch of conditions. This is still bearish conditions. Upper ATR resistance at 454.76. You can see that big dip low, overthrew the 144 EMA by quite a lot, and that lowest ATR band by a lot, which was at 446.65, so pretty much right on my level that we talked about before. And you can see on this upswing, that's where I bought the shares, 446.72, pretty much right there as we moved higher on that upswing. So we're back into some shares here. And then we followed through right to that upside, so we'll see how it plays out going into that Monday session, potentially looking for a touch of that resistance at 454.76. And looking at at the Russell and the Dow, similar thesis here. Russell 0.84 to the upside, momentum swinging to bullish. Similarly on the Dow, swinging to bullish, 1.59 to the upside. Right at the level, 387.77 right there. Needs to get above that to look bullish, up to 392.44. But both of these look like they have more upside to go, and you can see the Russell is actually rallying super aggressive here after hours. You can see it on the 1 hour chart, pretty much right to that level. After closing around 205.71, it's already up to that 206.50 area. And then moving over to the Mag 7, still negative on the day, 0.39. Interesting to see the NASDAQ going higher, doing better than the Mag 7. You can see momentum here is still lagging, so it's actually pushing towards the bear side, whereas we're seeing the rest of markets start to kind of turn up a little bit. And jumping here to the hourly chart just to see how strong it was, you can see dip low, as everything else did. Bullish candles, last candle of the day, 1.29% to the upside, but still closed bearish. Still right on that 21 EMA. Doesn't look as strong as everything else, but it did have a pretty strong reversal candle on that last candle of the day. Moving over to Apple and Tesla, Apple was up 0.5, still in that same zone that it's been in. Upper resistance at this point around 193.10, and then Tesla still in the same trading range, still above 177.70. After hours it fell a little bit. Momentum basically nothing. Tesla just sideways choppy action still. Moving over to Microsoft and NVIDIA, you can see Microsoft managed to stay positive, 0.11 to the upside, but look at that momentum. Turning bearish, huge volume. Wick rejection was all the way down at 404, so it fell by more than $10 at one point and ended up closing around 415. So big move down, big reversal. You can see it still here on the hourly chart, just like everything else. Big fall, big reversal on that last candle. And then looking at NVIDIA down 0.78, looks like NVIDIA is still set to roll down to that 21 EMA and potentially more downside to come next week. Moving over to Meta, down 0.05 after almost touching 454.07. And then Amazon, same thesis here. Big move down to 174.23. That was our price target. We expected a touch of that level. Didn't really expect it to happen all in one day, but sure enough it did. Still ended up down 1.61%. Amazon continues to look awful. Clear double top, clear midpoint, waiting for this to break down to that 144 EMA in my opinion. Moving over to staples and discretionaries, staples catching a massive bid off of that 55 EMA, 1.56% to the upside. Engulfed the four previous candles here, almost back to that 77.5 level. Looks like we're probably going to break through it and push higher. This looks like a higher low setup here. Touch these highs from here, so everything still looks good on staples. Momentum swinging back to bullish, seems like a good time to be in. And then discretionary, same thesis here, pulled back to the trend, consolidated, overthrew it, took out all these lows, and then immediately rejected, ended up positive 0.56 on the day. So right now, this looks like a higher low setup with some potential bullish conditions up to that 180.10 area. Moving over to Breadth, as you would suspect, Breadth went way higher on the day, momentum swinging to bullish. Probably going to see some decent follow through on this in my opinion. See how it plays out. 20-day Breadth probably headed back into that 70 to 80 area. 50-day Breadth at least to these previous highs around 62. So a couple more candles I would suspect to the upside in my opinion. Moving over to the dollar here on the hourly and the daily, there's really nothing to do with this. So sideways choppy action, got another down candle, touched the trend, clearly bounced. Momentum bearish, RSI right on the SMA, just looks like sideways choppy action, no clear direction on the dollar. And with this kind of hovering in a pattern that does give markets a little bit of potential to the upside like we saw today. Moving over to yields, yields continued to fall from yesterday's session, momentum on these both swinging to bearish. 2-year breaking down on that PCE data, and then 10-year got a roll to bearish there. We'll see how that plays out. But yields moved much lower on that inflation data today. Moving over to volatility, bond volatility did pop a little bit, but VIX touched that level again, 1470, touched it on Thursday, touched it on Friday, and then sold off right to those trend lines. Didn't hit my level at 1275. But it's holding at the trend lines here, 9 and 21 EMAs. If it's going to bounce, it's probably going to do it now. But that is a big bearish candle. Momentum's rolling to bearish. I would expect at least one more day of bearishness there. Moving over to my accounts, I went pretty super bullish at the end of the session, managed to make a few $100s, so that worked out good. Jumped back in on the IWM, not nearly enough. Just sold a 204 put for $57. Made some money there on the day, so that was decent. Should have rolled it up. Wasn't aggressive enough on the IWM. unfortunately. On the Qs, however, definitely was decent there. Sold some puts, kept those in. Not sure why it says I'm in a loss there. Probably shouldn't be. Those are a 484 put with the price being all the way up at 451.50, which was basically at the market high. Sold those for 65 cents, so should be a bit more profit there. Looking for $120 profit there for the Monday session. Took off my second set of calls, and then I did leave on some calls here at 447 for almost $3 credit, as I have these shares here now. So max profit on that is right around 450. Obviously, we're way above that, so we'll see how that plays out. Might have to roll it out. We'll see if we can hold the gains and continue higher. If we do, I'll probably take this off and try to reestablish further out. But right now, you can see the deltas. Very bullish on the deltas. IWM, need to reassess that. Probably should have been in sooner, but at least I made some money. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of the inflation data and the moves that followed. Should we have gone straight up on that data? But instead we had a dip low and a rally. Will that rally continue into the Monday session? Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.